Would you love to learn this opening trick, which involves a little trap to finish off your opponent very quickly? If yes, then this is the video for you. By the way, this will be an instructional lesson. So if you want to improve your rating, this is the video you want to watch. Sit back as I take you through my thought process in some live games. Polish defense. I guess this will kind of transpose back to the O'Sullivan Gambit if I play knight f6, because white is going to play pawn to e5. This is one thing I love about the Polish, by the way. Let me show you how this goes. So knight f6. The idea is to sacrifice the b5 pawn, by the way. If white takes, I'll be the happiest person because I'm ready to go pawn to c5 now. So pawn to c5, the idea is to go queen f5 check and win this bishop. There's no knight c3 in the near future due to knight takes. Uh-oh. Why did I say you should play from here? Yeah, so this is just a transposition of the Alekhine defense for those who are still behind. So I can still go queen a5 check since I'm attacking the light squared bishop. Yep. So this is what oh, wait a second. My opponent thinks they're going to get back their piece, but I'm still going to win their rook on h1 like this. I have bishop b7. This is one move most people don't see. So queen takes. That's why my opponent didn't take. See, if my opponent took the knight, I was going to play bishop b7 and there was no defending the g2 pawn and that. So that's what was going to happen. That's why my opponent played knight f3 after realizing that. But with knight f3, they can't even cast a shot because I have bishop s6. If you think about it, there's checkmate there in case of queen takes. Just a sneaky way of beating my opponent using the O'Sullivan Gambit. Next, I'm planning to go e6. So let's play this move first. Just in case of knight f3, I have queen takes. I also have queen check and knight takes and e6. So this is already game over. There's nothing my opponent can do. Yeah, like I can just give a check here. This is game over. So king d2, my opponent just lost their right to castle. Now the idea is for me to give a check. So g6 and then check. Yep, it's done. So this is the O'Sullivan Gambit, you guys, that arises from the Polish defense. And you need to learn this Gambit. That's why you have all the reasons to remain a subscriber, and if you haven't subscribed already, do so. My opponent just resigned and lost 54 points. I gained 17. Now I'm 2250. Alright, let me play another game featuring the Polish defense. I hope things will go right. By the way, just a quick tutorial for you guys who don't know the O'Sullivan Gambit. You see, this can also arise from the Alekhine defense in the king's pawn game, where you go knight f6, and if pawn to e5, you go knight d5. And after pawn to d4, which happens to be the top played move in the Lichess database, that's when you go pawn to b5, sacrificing a free pawn. This creates an impression as if you are avoiding to be hit with pawn to c4. So what you're going to see most of your opponents doing is taking that free pawn, after which you can go pawn to c5. Can you see the similarities? In the game, this is where my opponent took on c5 and then I gave them a check. The most popular continuation here is knight c3, after which we take like that, attacking the queen and the bishop, everything. If pawn takes, you now take on b5 with the queen. This is how the main theory goes. Now during the game, my opponent played pawn takes, I gave them a check, and then they played pawn to c3. When I took the bishop, I was expecting them to take on d5 as well, blundering like this. This is the variation I was talking about. Most people play queen back to d4 in this situation. Now I go bishop takes g2 and win the rook on the next move. There are instances where I end up checkmating my opponents like this. Pap, not even taking the rook. So this is called the O'Sullivan Gambit. Now you know that you can also play this in the queen's pawn game. As you saw, the game started as a d4 opening and I played the Polish, kind of an early pawn sacrifice if you think about it. After e4, the top played move, this is when you go knight f6, and after e5 you go knight d5. Same stuff. This is like we just sacrificed this pawn, that if pawn takes, we go c5 and then go queen f5, same stuff, same kind of death. Great. Now let me play another game featuring the Polish, hoping this time it'll be an instructional game, because I don't want someone in the comment section to call me a weak rapid player. You see, people do ignore the fact that I play gambits most of the times, even in rapid chess, so that puts me on a hot seat. I kind of disadvantage myself to entertain you guys in the opening stage, so it is me who takes the risk by playing very extreme and unsound gambits. Anywho, let's go to the next game and see how things will go. Let's try the Polish defense. So with b5, I kind of stopped pawn to c4, and now this is kind of the accelerated London system, but it's not going to work against my Polish defense. Let's see. If I want, I can play pawn to d6. Let me just go bishop b7. Now my b5 pawn is under attack, so I need to defend it. So let's go f6. Knight f3. To stop knight f3, I can play pawn to d6 at this point. I'm also thinking of playing pawn to c5 or pawn to e6. But first, let's try knight f6. It's always good to start with the knights first, especially if you run out of ideas. Now I can play d6. And knight b d7. The idea is to go pawn to e5 at the right time. So g6 and bishop g7. Sure, white wants to play this move. Let's attack the dark square bishop. By doing so, I just paved the way for my dark square bishop. Now I can attack the light square bishop if I want, but the most important move is to go pawn to e5 first. So as you can see, there's no memorization here. I'm just playing chess. I want to take like this to oversimplify the position for now. So the position is now well simplified. Forgot to mention that I'm playing against a 2305 rated opponent. Now I can castle short if I want. I think I don't have any weaknesses at the moment, if you can see. Now pawn to c5 makes a lot of sense. I have an opportunity to go pawn to c4. What if I just take on c3, then play pawn to e4? Bishop takes. My queen is in the line of white's rook. So I must move it first before, considering to play that. Besides, with knight f3, my opponent is now double attacking this pawn, so I need to defend it somehow. I guess the move to play is queen e7. If white plays a lazy move, I'll be glad to take. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Can't believe this guy is a 2305 rated player, yet they managed to somehow blunder a pawn like that. This knight also attacks the queen, so white has no time to capture my bishop. Now I can take the light squared bishop. Looks like I'm just up a pawn for nothing. Next, I should play something like pawn to c4 and plant my bishop here. My pawn on e5 is doing a great job of stopping knight d4. So now bishop that. I'll even put, okay, so my opponent is not playing so well. You can see I'm now going to connect everything. I have a passed pawn. The knight is under attack. Now I can safely get rid of this knight if I want, because my bishop isn't doing anything, isn't doing much. At this point, I should start thinking of the middle game principles or the end game principles, activating my rooks, because you see, one of the end game principles states rooks smile on or in open files. This is where my rook belongs. Now I want to play rook c2, but I'm afraid white is going to play queen f5. So I must do something about this first. Going in with my queen, stopping queen f5 in advance, so that rook c2 can have more power. This is a passed pawn. You see, when you have a positional advantage or a lead in development, start exchanging pieces, but not pawns. By pieces, we mean bigger pieces, the rooks, the bishops. We take. Did I just hang something? I have that move. At this point, I can even sacrifice my rook. I just feel like I can do this because this will win me some more pawns. In fact, give a check and take. Now who's winning? I guess I am the one. Yep, so my opponent just resigned. Or should I include their rating? My 2305 rated opponent resigned. You can see this time I did not play a dubious gambit, and that's how I play rapid chess if I just want to be serious, although I did not even put my A game. Anywho, let's continue and see what else I can do if I play some serious chess. Stay tuned. Alright, so we have a game. Hope to see e4. If pawn to d4, I can still take him back to the Alekhines trap. Anyways, knight to f6. If e5, I have knight d5. Now the most played move here is d4, not c4, but I have b5. That's the gambit, you guys, called the O'Sullivan gambit. I'm preparing to go pawn to c5 next if bishop takes b5. Okay, so that's a gambit, you guys. Let's see what white is going to do. Okay, bishop takes now c5. The plan is to go queen a5, check, and win the light squared bishop, since my knight on d4 is covering the c3 square. So bishop c4 attacking my knight. I guess I still have to take, I still need to take on d4 with my c pawn, right? Yep. So if bishop takes, I'll go queen a5, check, and win the light squared bishop. Yep. Now queen a5, Kaspar's signature move. So white has to attend to this check, letting me win his light squared bishop. I mean, he just captured my free knight, except there's no such a thing as a free lunch in this economic nation of eyeballs and antennas and elbows. Okay, pawn to c3, pawn to c3. Okay, let's take the bishop, eyeballing the g2 pawn. Okay, knight to f3. can I go bishop a6, or maybe bishop b7, or maybe I go queen d4, sorry, queen e4, check. I think I can remember something here. It's been long, you guys. It's normal to forget some of these cheap traps. So I have queen a6, but that will only be played after I play queen e4 check. But queen e4 check again will lead to a line where we exchange queens. I guess that's the only way to go. Yep, queen e4 check. Okay, so if queen e2, I'll simply take that queen. I don't mind playing without queens in this gambit. Why? Because I'm the one who's playing a gambit, okay? And yeah, queen takes, check. And after king takes, I'll take the c3 pawn. And I have some more open lines. Normally, when we are playing gambits, you guys, we don't want to exchange queens very fast. But in this line, I guess I'm free to do that because I have many open lines. Knight c6 first. I have pawn to e6, bishop c5 coming next. So that queen trade was okay. Besides, we have equal number of pawns. Knight d4 leaves the e5 pawn hanging, I guess. Yep. White shouldn't have played that move. Okay, pawn to b3. I guess I have rook c8 attacking the knight on c3. Yep. Let's see what white is going to do here. Okay, bishop b2. I still have knight to d3. But, I mean, knight to d3 supported by my bishop on a6. Let me go pawn to e6, I think. Yeah, preparing to go bishop c5, pinning the knight to the king. If pawn to f4, I have knight d3 attacking the dark squared bishop. So I'm not worried about that. And I also have f5, f4. Oh, rook ac1. Can I go bishop c5 here? Or knight d3, I think, attacking the rook and the bishop. That's not easy to solve. My knight is well protected by my light squared bishop on s6. What is white going to do here? Let's see. Okay. Oh, knight cb5. Can I take the rook on c1 or the bishop, which is hanging? The problem is if I take the dark squared bishop, white has this in between move, knight c7 check. So let me just take the rook. Yep. If rook takes, I'll take with my other rook. So once again, this is called the O'Sullivan Gambit, you guys. Okay, so bishop takes. I think I have plenty of moves here. Pawn to e5 is one of them. But can I go bishop c5, pinning the knight? I think bishop c5 makes no sense. e5. Bishop c5 will come later. By the way, pawn to e5 instantly wins one of the knights. Why did I even want to play bishop c5? Why am I this bad at chess? Oh, knight takes a7. Did I make something wrong there? Maybe. Oh, okay, so the knight is attacking my rook, but that's the importance of knowing in between moves. I can play e takes d4, okay? The game is right here. So e takes d4 is an in-between move. That will come with a check. So white won't have time to capture my rook first. They have to attend to this check. Yeah, so king takes. Now I can rescue my rook, because the game has now shifted to the queen side, okay? This square right here. So, oh, wait a second, you guys. I have bishop c5 check, winning the knight on a7. I think white should resign now. Oh, my opponent is a diehard for nothing. Let me just take this knight. And next, I have plenty of moves. I'm planning to go pawn to f6, bishop b7 check, and maybe rook c6 will be checkmate, I don't know. So let's go f6. Yep, f6. If rook e1 check, I can go king d8 or probably go home. King d8 I think is better than going home. If bishop e7 check, I have king c7 and king b7 maybe. Oh, king b8, not king b7. Yeah. If bishop e7 check, I have king c7 and king b8. What is that? Anyways, check. Bishop b7 check. I think that'll be checkmate after king d6 and bishop b8 checkmate, okay? Cause all these highlighted squares in red are covered by my pieces, so bishop b8 will be checkmate. Yeah, he better resign. Okay, let's go. Oh, I'm playing against a 22-34 rated player. So e4, knight f6, the ally highest defense. Now, if at all you guys didn't watch the video that I made on the ally highest defense, I suggest that you watch it. The link is in the card above. So knight d5, that's the way to go. Plan is to go pawn to b5 next. Okay, we go b5. So if white takes, pawn to c5 is coming. Okay, bishop takes b5, so we go c5. The plan is to go queen a5 check, plus winning the bishop, the light squared bishop. So normally, white takes on c5, which they shouldn't. Oh, pawn to c4. Okay, attacking my knight. So let me just take on d4. Idea is to still go queen a5 check. I mean, if pawn takes knight, I have queen a5 check, and white cannot defend on c3 with his knight because I'm just gonna capture with my pawn. Oh, now this is interesting. So what did we learn here? Knight b4 is the way to go, intending to go on c2 next. Yep, I think let's do that. Simply knight b4. Yes. So knight b4, the idea is to go on c2, forking the king, the rook, and the queen. That would be nice. Bishop b7 is also coming. Oh, can I go queen a5? Because that's the right continuation. Idea is to go knight c2, check. The queen cannot defend, cannot take my knight. I also have intentions of going pawn to e6. So if I go queen a5, knight c2 check, or let me just play e6. Okay, with e6 I still have an option of going queen a5. The pawn on a3 is pinned to the rook on a1, so white has to be careful. If pawn takes, I'll take the rook. And I also have ideas of going knight c2 check plus winning the rook on a1. Knight c2 will be check. Life is good for me. I don't know about my opponent. Okay, let's see what my opponent is going to do. At west I have bishop b7 eyeing the rook on h1, and s6 is also coming because, oh, knight d2. I have s6. Still, pawn takes, my knight doesn't work after s6. Okay, pawn to s6. Now white's light squared bishop is trapped, it has nowhere to go to. And if pawn takes my knight, the rook falls. Wow, that's amazing. I think white is losing now. I have too many threats, taking on b4, taking on c1 with check, taking on b5. So many free things to take in this world. Now this is just a random chess player on Chess. I don't even know him. He's not a paid actor. And oh, he just resigned. Oh, sorry dear. I just needed to beat you. I just needed to disappoint you. Anyways, let's do some quick analysis here. Let's just say white made a random move from here, knight f3 instead of knight e2. Here I would have just captured on b5 first, and after pawn takes I go knight s6 first, so that I do not hang my bishop on c8. Now check this out, you guys. If you want to learn more about these kinds of tricks or similar opening ideas like the ones I just shared, you can watch this video that has popped up on the top left. Another video that I highly recommend you check out to skyrocket your rating is this one that has popped up on the top right. But if you love Gambit videos, you can check out the video that has popped up on the bottom left. And if you are a lover of chess traps like myself, feel free to click on the video that has popped up on the bottom right.